Hi, my name is Chris Morton. I'm 39 years old. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I thought I would talk a little bit about my experience with Iboga, working with the Iboga Wellness Center, and so I guess we'll start with a little bit about my background. I'm in the tech industry, work for a large tech company, computers and such. I've been working with plant medicines for, I don't know, close to 20 years. Many varieties, everything from ayahuasca, wachuma, San Pedro, frog medicines, and many spiritual traditions, indigenous practices, and medicinal philosophies, Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese herbalism. So I guess I'm what you would consider to be a spiritual seeker or explorer. I'm under no illusions that I'm free of problems or challenges and stress. I mean, that's what life is all about. And I've definitely built my share of mountains and hurdles. And I've found many, plant medicines and those traditions to be incredibly helpful tools, helping me navigate and expanding awareness and what I know to be true and possible in my world, and allowing me to be more flexible in the way that I approach life, more compassionate and accommodating for the differences that I see, not only in myself but in others in the world around me, and how that reflects. And in spite of all of that, life is life. And I think it was even Stephen here at the Wellness Center that kind of called out, how else will life really get in there for those that are do a lot of internal and interpersonal work and help them evolve. Life is a long journey, and I feel really fortunate because I've gotten to reach those places of being incredibly introspective and confident, and I kind of knew what my world was about. But at the same time, fell prey to slow self-delusion, slow, little lies, little self-deceits, and where those come from, either from myself or from the world and society around me, or old thought patterns and beliefs, or just new relationships that, in my case, pretty rough ones in the last year or two. And I found myself, just short of energy, just short of willpower, the ability to really think outside of my situation, just trapped, buried under an avalanche of, mostly my own making. And it was about that time that Iboga really stepped up. I'd known about it for years, and it came in and said, hey, it's time. It's time to go and see what this is about. And so I did. I reached out, looked at a couple of different places, spoke to some people, kind of felt into them, and decided to go with this group. And I'm incredibly happy with the results. I came here with, trying to minimize the expectations that I had from the medicine, but with a fairly high degree of expectations from what I wanted from the staff and from the care and from the food and the atmosphere. And I wasn't disappointed. Wonderful rooms, nice and quiet, comfortable beds, air conditioning, which is important when you're a cold-blooded person like me who loves icy waters as opposed to hot, sweltering heat. Food was perfect, not too salty, not too fatty, and nice wide variety, fresh fruits and vegetables, chicken and fish. And the guys here, God, what in it for all the right reasons. I've worked with a lot of practitioners, a lot of people that have elaborate stories about how they came into their practices, why they do it. And with many, you hear the words, I won't say very few, but there are those that say all the right things about when it comes down to acting and how they carry themselves and how they conduct their ceremonies and treat their guests. These guys, it blew me away. If I were to do it, it would be much the same way, I would think. Being very attentive and accommodating of the guests. Low on the judgment factor and scale. Feel comfortable. Ceremonies were great. Having a lot of plant medicine experience in the past, the Iboga works in several modes that I was familiar with, I had experienced before, but the way that it was executed, the way that the spirit of that plant really comes forward was just so incredibly supporting. Working with ayahuasca, you can enter some of the same spaces, and the support guys can vary depending on the situation and what's going on. But through both of these ceremonies, just the degree of focus and how quickly the mind relaxes and sits back and so comfortable falling into that role of an observer, and then guiding you deeply into yourself. And then, the philosophy that they share in which the ceremonies are conducted, the Bwiti tradition, words spoken from their teacher, that tradition, that lineage, and then their own personal experiences being shared, to highlight why exactly they're here and how they found themselves sitting with this plant and allowing it to enter their lives and help them. And so for me, coming out the other side, just deeply peaceful and relaxed. I remember myself again, and I find it amazing how, in spite of all my work and the things that I know, how I could slide backwards and lose myself. And I got to spend some serious time with the deeper parts of myself, the soul, as they would say, that higher self, and repair a relationship that I had damaged myself. I hadn't been treating myself very well. Putting myself into a position that compromised the things that were important to me, my own happiness, in order to accommodate other people and other people's ideas. And I just felt like I had been picked apart, like a carcass of birds, just pulling it to pieces without much sense of itself, remaining to let you know what was there. And so here I'm about to go home, and I'm just excited. I feel warm and glowing. Looking forward to re-engaging with my life and changing a few things. And I think that's probably one of the most important things that anyone who's engaged in medicine practices could possibly know, is that these are tools. These are not solutions, but they definitely can provide help and aid, allow us to recover a little bit of our internal vitality, dissolve the illusions that we so often create to rationalize why things are happening to us. Allow us to take personal responsibility for our life, for our situation. And when we go home, that's when the work really begins, because now we have to put it into action. We've been shown by ourselves with the plant medicines and with these wonderful, wonderful guides. They've facilitated these ceremonies and take such amazing care of their guests. And put it into action. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch with this group and coming back, and maybe even going, to Gabon, to Africa in the future, to really experience the roots of this medicine in its native habitat, and that jungle that is still largely a mystery. So yes, for all of you spiritual seekers out there, looking for a plant that will really focus in on opening up that awareness, the third eye, relaxing the mind and opening the space to start communicating with those deeper parts of ourselves and with the universe and world, outside of this physical one. A beautiful medicine, gentle, with a lot of grace. Yeah, still feel it now. All right, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the other side.